Welcome back to freehighschooleducation.com. Today we are going to do chapter 6.3, dividing monomials in algebra 1, page 207. We have three situations when we divide monomials. The first situation is when both monomials in the numerator and denominator have the same base and the same power. So these two numbers are the same. And when we divide a number by itself, we get 1. In the next situation, we have the power in the numerator is more than the power in the denominator. So let's see what we get when we expand the powers. Here we have x multiplied by itself 5 times. And in the denominator we have x cubed, that's x times x times x. Here the x cuts with the x and we get 1 and 1, not 0, as some students might think. If you have 0, then you will have everything here 0 and here 0. And again we cut here by x, 1, 1, and here 1 and 1. So in the denominator we are going to have 1 times 1 times 1, and that's 1. And in the numerator, we are going to have x squared. Notice that x squared, the 2 here, is the difference between the powers. It's 5 minus 3. So we end up having in the numerator the base with the difference of the 2 powers, and in the denominator we have 1. And since we are dividing by 1, the answer will be x squared. Any number divided by 1 will not change. Now the third situation is similar to this, but in reverse. Here we have the power in the numerator is less than the power in the denominator, and we are going to expand this again. So now in the numerator we have x cubed, denominator we have x to the 5. Again we cut and we get 1. This x cancels this x cancels this x, and we end up having 1 in the numerator and x squared in the denominator. Again, this power is the difference of these two powers, 5 minus 3. In this case, the 1 in the numerator is significant, so the answer will stay as such. And that's similar to having a small number, such as 3, divided by 9, and you are going to get a fraction as a result, 1 over 3, when you cut by 3. Similarly here, you have a small number divided by a big number, so what you expect is that you are going to get a fraction. And in this case, there is 1 in the numerator, and in the denominator we have the base and the power. The power is the difference of the two powers, the one in the denominator minus the one in the numerator. Now all this happens if the base is the same, both here have x, then we can do this. If the bases are different, we cannot do anything. This stays as such. Now we will do a few of the classroom exercises on page 209. Number 1, simplify, assume that no variable is equal to 0. Here, as usual, there should be no, the number 0 should not be in the denominator because we cannot divide by 0. So number 1, and the answer here is 6 cubed. We minus the powers. Number 2, here this we get 1. These two are cancelled with 2 from the denominator, and we are left with 1/8. Number 3, 5 raised to 4 over 5 raised to 4, same base, same power, and the answer will be 1. number 4. 4 of this are cancelled by 4 in the denominator, and what is left is the difference, 8 minus 4, and that's y to the 4. Number 5, we have a raised to 5 divided by a raised to 5, and the answer will be 1. Number 6, a squared b divided by a b squared. Here this a cancels one of the a's in the numerator, so on the numerator we are going to have a, and here this b cancels one b from the denominator, and we get this as our answer. Number 7, r cube s over s squared t. Here the r cube and the t cannot be cut, so they are going to stay. Here this s is raised to 1, cancels one of the s's in the denominator, and we are left with the difference, 2 minus 1, and that is equal to 1. So this is the s left in the denominator, and the t and r cube remain as such. And that will be the answer. Number 8, 4xy cubed over 8x squared y. The numbers cut, 1, 2, so we have here half. 1x cancels 1x, so we get we can put here times 1 just to illustrate, and in the denominator we have 1x, and here this y cancels one of the y's here, so we are left with 2. So in the numerator we have y squared, 1 times y squared, that's y squared over 2x, and that's the answer. And with this we come to the end of this session. We hope to see you again.